Boy, that was a fast 20 minutes. Goodness. Do you ever notice that? It just seems to go by in a flash sometimes, and sometimes it's just tedious as all get out. But there's only two times you have to meditate: when you want to and when you don't want to. Only two times you have to meditate: when it's pleasurable and unicorn and intergalactic cosmic ecstasy, and when it's boring and tedious and dull. It just, both times. Anyway, welcome back. Happy Tuesday. Heard an interesting story about our friend Johann Sebastian Bach. Unbelievably innovative, a genius beyond all measure, influenced music that still resonates throughout all time and space today. And our, it wasn't so much about his music that I was looking at yesterday, but his life, where he lived, when he lived, what he was involved in. But he was much, much beloved and important and considered in the highest esteem where he lived in Germany, I think it was. But as he neared the end of his life, and then in his last few days, so many of his friends in his community were just crestfallen and so sad that he was nearing his passing. He was involved in the church. He wrote their music. He taught a lot of people involved in the community, in law, in just you name it. The man was a polymath of the most extraordinary uh, achievement. And as he was on his deathbed and he saw so many people were all crowded around him, terribly sad, and he said his last words were, don't lament for me. I'm going to the place where music is born. I'm going to the place where music is born. And then he passed away. So today's little thought, as we're all looking for more intelligence, more wisdom for sure, is that there's an infinite supply of intelligence. And so this sort of represents a bit of a dichotomy and potential worldview. And one worldview is that human intelligence is the pinnacle of intelligence that there is anywhere in the universe. After several billion years, green slime has continuously evolved through random mutation and an incredible number of uh, fruitful mistakes, I guess you might say. Green slime has evolved to write Shakespeare, to create a Bach, so to speak. And that's one way of looking at it. Another way of looking at it is more of the top-down approach. The universe, creation itself, is infinitely intelligence, and human consciousness is constantly evolving and moving up into greater and greater, how shall we say, acquisition of this infinite intelligence. That's another way to look at it. And the latter view involves a certain humility, doesn't it? It involves humans looking at one another and saying, we're not the pinnacle of all intelligence. Sometimes that's not too hard to see, is it? But for some people, they just simply don't accept it. And yet, in our meditation, in the humility of quieting our own mind and softening our own point of view, we actually can bring ourselves into a position of receptivity. We can let down our resistance umbrellas, and the intelligence, the wisdom, here's the word, the genius that we're looking for is naturally, um, it's naturally blessed, forwarded, downloaded into each and every one of us. And then while we still have to work and effort, it's not the crushing effort of trying to find the intelligence that we want on the outside and dragging it into our brain and memorizing it. It's far more of the acquisition and the downloading of genius. Now, I find that personally very encouraging, but not so encouraging that I'm allowed to just give up. In a few minutes, I'm leaving for Music Theory 2 class at DVC, and I don't want to go today. Wah! I want to go back and I want to lay back in bed. I want to cover myself up with blankets. And I would like God to just imbue me with Music Theory 2 intelligence. But I'm going to have to go participate. So once again, if we do the possible, God will do the impossible. But what I invite each and every one of us to look at is, do you think the universe is intelligent? Do you think intelligence is an inherent quality in the universe? We see intelligence of incredible magnitude in each and every cell. We see it as we look out into the universe. Whether we look through a microscope or a telescope, there seems to be endless and infinite intelligence. And as Einstein said, the more you know, the more you realize you don't know. Okay, that's our little talk on intelligence this week. I hope you found it stimulating. And anyway, I'd love to hear what you have to say about it tomorrow, and have a beautiful day.